Hi, I'm Cynthia Lockery from How To Communications, and let's talk about how to make your website work for you. We're going to talk today about your website's role, your online home base, how to create content, and embracing those analytics. So a lot of people create these websites and think if I build it, they will come. Not really. You need to do a little bit of more work to bring people in. So what is the role of your website? It's a business card. You meet somebody, people hear about you. It's a way of quickly finding you and learning more about you. It's also the front door to your company. So if you have a bricks and mortar store, people are going to make judgments about you based on your curb appeal, based upon how easy it is to find products, get questions answered, how friendly you are. Well, they're making the same, assumptions about you based on your website. And it is your first impression, and it can also be your last if it's not set up properly. And your website's a great place to answer basic questions. So myself, I don't go to restaurants until I can look at the menu on a website and I'll decide, is that where I want to go? Or going to a new business, I'm always going to check out the website first. And if that website's not current, how do I know that? I'm making the decisions based upon the website. So your website really needs to be a reflection of your product, your service, your brand, and you. So what do I mean? It means that there needs to be a consistent voice, a consistent brand, a consistent look and feel throughout the whole website. It can't be disjointed. It shouldn't be too formal. It should have some personality. You want people to connect with it. And that means some people will not, which is okay because they're not your ideal customers anyways. So go through your website if you have one, or if you're looking to build a new one, think, how do I want people to feel? How do I want people to experience this? If they were talking to me or somebody who worked for my organization, what would that feel be? How would they connect? And make sure it resonates through your website. I've seen some websites that are so formal, but when you actually talk to the person, they're really educational and entertaining, but there's a disconnect with their website. So your website is your online home base. It really is the only digital asset that you personally own. You can have all these social media channels, and tomorrow they could go down, or the algorithms could change on who sees it, or the reach, or what content you can post. Your website is the only digital entity that you control. It's a place to post your content, and it's also a place to direct people to. And some people will never call you, will never email, will never reach out, and only interact on your website. So you've got this website up. How do you get traffic and how do you expand your reach? I always think of my website as home base, and I'm looking for tentacles out to the digital community, and how do I bring them back as well? So some simple ways is to have your website connect it to some more established websites. I like Chamber of Commerce memberships. They are verified websites. Chamber of Commerce respect it. Even if you don't do business in your local community, they do help your search engine optimization, your SEO. Alumni associations. If you went to university or college or anywhere, you can update your alumni profile, and that's going to get your website some traction. Social media. I am shocked at how many people don't keep their LinkedIn profile current. LinkedIn is a great professional to professional, business to business tool. And so maybe you're selling something to consumers, but there's still that professional behind. And then trade or professional associations that you belong to, or maybe you should belong to, by looking at how do you expand the reach so your website is in these different places online. Some other examples is Alignable, that's the local community, but once again, it's an established website. Google My Business, paid social media ads. I can do a whole talk on social media, which I won't do, but it's a pay to play game now. People don't actually see your post unless you're boosting or paying for ads, and Google Ads. The biggest thing about websites is you got to keep them current. I'm not saying every day or every week, going in once a month, but the idea is it's got to have new content. Otherwise, the search engines, after a year of no content, thinks it's a dormant site and it will go down in the search engine optimization. When you're creating copy, what are those keywords that people would search to find your product, your service, or you, and make sure they're in your website? And when you keep your website current, it helps people, your customers, know that this is the most recent information. So content creation, I'm just going to give you some tips because this is a whole deep dive we could do, but for today, I'm just going to give you some high level. So your content that you create really needs to go back to that brand, that look, that feel, that personality. Does it all have a similar flow? Creating the content for your ideal audience, not the content you want, but the content the people that you want to engage with are interested in. So how do you do that? What is this? Do you think of, like, what are those common questions that you get? What's being talked about in your industry? And remember the 80-20 rule. This is so important. 80% of your content needs to be educational. Nobody wants to go to a website that's sales, sales, sales. They want to see why. What's the value of this? How does it help me? And that's that education. So here's some quick ways of making sure that you have some content on your site. Videos, everybody loves videos. They're the easiest. Photos, some really good quality photos, worth hiring a professional photographer all the time, because then you've got the crisps. I'm a big fan of blogs. I'm a writer though. I write a blog on howtocommunications.com every month, and that generates a lot of traffic for me. I have ways of getting that blog out there. If you're not a writer, you can do video blogs. You can do a photo with a bit of copy. The idea is to keep some content fresh on your site, and then you can use that content on social media, newsletter, emails, and bring people back to your website. I work in public relations, so I got to plug public relations, but I also know the value of it for myself and my clients. Public relations is different than advertising. Advertising is you telling, saying to people, buy this or learn about me, whereas public relation is more of storytelling and a little bit deeper and letting people learn about the value and who you are. So some tips you could do is write an article and submit it to a publication. Maybe there's something seasonal. Maybe there's something education, those common questions you get. Interview with your local paper. Is there something that you're doing that would be of interest back to the community? I published, I'm the author of a couple of books. And when my books were published, I reached out to my alumni association, and I was featured at my alumni university I went to. I also reached out to the local newspaper, and they ran a story about me. So I look to see where I can share my story. Being a guest on a podcast, there's tons of podcasts out there. Look for the right fit. Don't just blitz, do some research. Creating your own video series, I'm not talking weekly videos, it could be monthly, but you can create a YouTube channel for yourself, your business, put some videos, maybe like sit down and do a few and have them come out once a month. And then you can put them on your website, put them on YouTube, push them out there to your community. The idea is to look for ways to share your story with an audience in a way that is interesting and connects with them. But the thing with all of what I'm saying is it can't be off the side of your desk when you remember. You must have a communications or marketing plan. Either you sit down yourself or you work with a public relations consultant or a marketing firm. You need to plan for the year, because if you don't plan, nothing's going to happen. We all know, oh, I got to put something on Facebook. I haven't done it for a while. And you just put something out that isn't quality. You know, I always say it's about quality, not quantity. So you want to look for ways to draw that traffic to your site. If you're at an event, is there a postcard with a QR code that brings people back to your site? You know, does your branding all fit together when you're in person, online with all your digital tools? Do you have ways of getting those tentacles of your website out there? So one way to know if it's working, embrace the analytics. I'm a big fan of Google Analytics. You really got to know who's coming to your website, where are they coming from, what topics are they interested in, how long are they staying. For me, I'm based in Canada, but over 50% of my visits are from the US. So I need to write articles that are relevant to US market as well as Canadian and UK, where I get a lot of traffic, in Australia. So I also want to go in and I look at my blog post and go, okay, this one's really performing well. I've converted some of my blog posts into visual ebooks. If there's like 5 steps to impactful storytelling, I'll turn that into an ebook. But the only way I know what's working is to look at my analytics. And if I'm seeing a trend, then I'm obviously going to produce more content in that trend. So some tools that I use is Google Analytics. You can work with a web developer to heat map your website, Facebook pixels to see where people are going. I'll end with saying, you know, it's really about having a true connection with your ideal audience. It's not about a shotgun approach, trying to be everything to everyone. And when we zero in and make that connection, that's when you're going to make the sales or get a new customer. So really think of who it is you want to talk to, how you want to show up, and does your website reflect that? If you need more help, I have lots of tools and techniques that you can get and resources on howtocommunications.com, or shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you.